There is a strange moment in life that almost everyone experiences. It is the moment when you stand at the edge of something new, a new business idea, a dream career, a new version of yourself. You feel excitement in your chest, but at the same time, something invisible holds you back. You tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow turns into next week. Next week turns into next year. And slowly, without realizing it, you become a professional starter who never starts. The truth is, most people do not fail because they lack talent. They fail because they never begin. Today, I want to tell you a story about a man who spent his entire life preparing to start, but almost never did. And if you listen carefully, you might discover the real reason why you have been stuck in the same place for so long. Many years ago, in a quiet village surrounded by rivers and forests, there lived a man named Arman. Arman was known as the smartest person in the village. He read more books than anyone else. He asked deeper questions than anyone else. And he had the biggest dreams. Arman wanted to build something extraordinary. He dreamed of creating a great trading company that would connect villages, cities, and distant lands. He imagined ships carrying goods across oceans. He imagined helping thousands of people earn a living. The dream lived inside him like a bright fire. But there was a problem. Arman never started. Every morning he woke up early. He sat at his wooden desk with notebooks, maps, and calculations. He studied markets. He studied shipping routes. He studied business strategies. Day after day, month after month. He kept telling himself, I just need a little more preparation. 1 year later, his friend Kareem started a small fruit-selling stall in the market. Kareem had almost no money. He had no business education, but he started anyway. At first, the stall looked messy. Sometimes Kareem bought too many fruits and they spoiled. Sometimes he priced them wrong and lost money. But slowly, something interesting happened. Kareem began to learn. He learned what customers liked. He learned how to negotiate with farmers. He learned how to predict demand. Within 2 years, Kareem owned 3 stalls. Within 5 years, he owned a warehouse. Meanwhile, Arman was still sitting at his desk, preparing. When people asked him about his business dream, Arman smiled politely. I'm working on something big, he would say. I just need the perfect plan. Inside his room, the walls became covered with papers, charts, strategies, predictions. He had prepared for economic crashes. He had prepared for shipping delays. He had prepared for market competition. He had prepared for problems that had not even happened yet. But one thing remained missing: action. Years passed. Arman's notebooks filled entire shelves, but his dream never left the room. Then one evening, something unexpected happened. An old traveler arrived in the village. The man looked tired but peaceful. His clothes were simple. His bag was small, but his eyes carried the calm confidence of someone who had lived 1,000 stories. The traveler entered the village tea house. Arman was there, sitting alone with another notebook. The traveler noticed the pile of papers on the table. He smiled. You look like a man building something important, the traveler said. Arman sighed. I want to build a business that reaches the whole world, he replied, but I'm still preparing. The traveler sat down. How long have you been preparing? He asked gently. Arman thought for a moment. 7 years. The traveler raised his eyebrows slightly. 7 years? Arman nodded. I want to be sure everything works perfectly before I begin. The old traveler looked at Arman for a long moment. Then he asked a strange question. Tell me, have you ever seen a child learn to walk? Arman looked confused. Of course. What happens when the child tries to walk for the first time? They fall. And what happens next? They try again. The traveler smiled. Exactly. Then he leaned closer. The child becomes strong not because they waited for the perfect moment, but because they fell while moving forward. Arman remained silent. The traveler continued. Let me tell you something most people never realize. He picked up one of Arman's thick notebooks. This book represents your plans. Then he picked up another, and this one represents your research. Then another, and this one represents your fears. Soon he stacked 5 heavy notebooks on top of each other. "Look at this," he said. "You are carrying knowledge, strategies, predictions, and fears." He pushed the stack toward Arman. "Now try to run while carrying all of this." Arman laughed. "That would be impossible." The traveler nodded slowly. "Exactly." Then he said something Arman would never forget. "Most people do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because they carry too much before they start." The traveler continued speaking softly. "When you try to plan everything before acting, you are trying to control the future. But the future cannot be controlled. It can only be experienced." Then he pointed toward the village road outside. "Look at that road. Can you see the entire road from here?" "No," said Arman. "But you can see the next few steps." "Yes." The traveler smiled. "And that is all you ever need." That night, Arman could not sleep. For 7 years, he believed preparation was the smartest strategy. But now he began to wonder something uncomfortable. What if preparation had become an excuse? What if he wasn't actually preparing? What if he was hiding? Hiding from mistakes, hiding from embarrassment, hiding from failure. And suddenly he understood something painful. You cannot fail at something you never start. Preparation had protected his ego, but it had also imprisoned his dream. The next morning, Arman did something different. He closed all his notebooks. He walked into the market. He rented the smallest stall he could find. He bought a small shipment of goods. His heart was pounding. Everything felt uncertain. Everything felt imperfect. But for the first time in 7 years, Arman had started. The first months were chaotic. He made mistakes, many mistakes. He lost money. He trusted the wrong people. He misjudged demand. Sometimes he felt embarrassed, but something incredible began to happen. Arman started learning things he could never learn from books. He learned how customers think. He learned how to make fast decisions. Every mistake became a teacher, and every lesson made him stronger. Years later, Arman finally built the company he once dreamed about. It was not perfect. It had faced storms, losses, and failures, but it was real. One day, while standing in his large warehouse, Arman remembered the old traveler, and he finally understood the lesson. Success does not belong to the smartest planners. Success belongs to the people who are brave enough to begin. And now the story becomes about you, because in some way we are all Arman. We have ideas sitting in our minds, a business we want to start, a skill we want to learn, a life we want to create. But we keep waiting, waiting for confidence, waiting for money, waiting for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment never arrives, because the truth is simple. Confidence does not come before action. Confidence comes from action. Experience does not come before mistakes. Experience comes through mistakes. And clarity does not come before starting. Clarity appears while moving forward. So if you feel stuck right now, ask yourself one honest question. Are you truly preparing, or are you just afraid to begin? Because the biggest tragedy in life is not failure. The biggest tragedy is potential that never gets used, dreams that never get tested, stories that never get written. Remember this: the road does not reveal itself to those who stand still. It reveals itself to those who start walking. You do not need to see the entire path. You only need the courage to take the first step. So today, stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop building the perfect plan. Stop preparing forever and start. Because your future is not built by the plans in your mind. It is built by the actions you take today. If this story made you think, then maybe it was meant for you. And maybe today is the day you finally begin.